And happy St. Patty's Day to each and every one of us. You know, I'm very honored to be here, but it's a reminder that it was here on this land where our ancient ones once stood. It was here on this land where our ancestors did what they had to do in order to survive. It's also here where we all came together, whether by choice or not. We are blessed with the gifts of land, of water, and air. And our core essence is to celebrate with one another in harmony together, understanding that we are all the same. It's our responsibility to embrace our lives and to pass on to future generations this great responsibility of what little we know. Happy St. Patty's Day to everyone.
Happy St. Patrick's Day 2021. Ced Míle Fáilte, or 1,000 welcomes from the Seattle Irish Heritage Club. Our celebration of all things Irish at the Seattle Center has to be shared online this year. The great talent from our community have contributed samples to share. Please relax, enjoy our song, our culture, and listen to our stories for a taste of Ireland.
Díchuit, I'm Mayor Jenny Durkin. I want to say thank you, or Goramahagat, to the Irish Heritage Network for inviting me to be part of this year's virtual Irish Heritage Week celebrations. I'm proud to celebrate my Irish heritage, even if our celebrations have to take a different form this year. The St. Patrick's Day Parade was among one of the first major events that had to be canceled last year, as our region began working to flatten the curve and reduce the spread of COVID-19 in our communities. Unfortunately, the annual visit by the Mayor of Galway has to be canceled again this year because we're still in the middle of this pandemic, and it has hit Ireland hard too. The City of Seattle has maintained an active, vibrant relationship with our sister city of Galway for 35 years, and the annual visit of Galway's mayor is a point of great pride for our city. We look forward to resuming the traditions just as soon as we can, including all the wonderful community events that celebrate our city's Irish heritage. We've always known that we're a stronger city because of the contributions of the Irish community, and I'm proud to count myself as a member of that community. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
It is my honour and privilege as Ambassador of Ireland to the United States to send the warmest St. Patrick's Day greetings to my friends in Seattle at the Irish Heritage Club of Seattle and to all the Irish community in that great city, which I really enjoyed visiting over the last couple of years. I yearn for the day when I can get back, but on this occasion I'll have to greet you virtually, and I hope that you can celebrate St. Patrick's Day with as much gusto this year as is possible in a virtual environment, and that next year we'll be back to a in-person St. Patrick's Day with all the great traditions that go with the celebration of St. Patrick's Day across this great country. I'd like to say that Ireland is coping with the coronavirus like everyone else in the world. We've been badly affected by it. We've lost too many people, but we are confident that our economy will bounce back once we can put the public health phase of this crisis behind us. I believe that we are well placed to deepen further our relations with the United States in the coming years as both of our economies seek to recover from the ravages of the coronavirus. We have an extraordinary relationship with the United States based on the presence here of so many people of Irish descent, including the members of the Irish Heritage Club of Seattle, but also on the deep economic and business links that have developed in recent years, in particular between Ireland and Seattle, with so many Seattle companies investing in Ireland, so many Irish people working and doing business in Seattle. It's a wonderful two-way relationship, benefits both of our societies. I'd like to finish off by reciting a poem that I hope will remind all of you of home. This is W.B. Yeats's great poem about the Lake Isle of Innisfree, which conjures up the beautiful island on Lough Gill in County Sligo, which Yeats so missed when he was in exile in London. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree, and a small cabin build there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honey bee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade. And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, and evening full of linnet's wings. I will arise and go now, for always night and day I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore. While I stand on the roadway or on the pavement grey, I hear it in the deep heart's core.
Hello, my name is John Bruton. I was the Grand Marshal in 2008. It's my honour to join you again this year to celebrate St. Patrick, the man who brought the Christian faith to Ireland, and to thank him and to thank the Irish people who have followed St. Patrick over the years. Thank you.
Best wishes to everyone for St. Patrick's Day 2021. Hey, I'm Rick Steves, and I loved being the Grand Marshal of Seattle's St. Patrick's Day Parade back in 2006. And I don't think Seattle's had the joy of a Norwegian Grand Marshal ever since. Of course, we're all honorary Irish men and women each March, and I know how much the parade and other St. Patrick's Day celebrations play a part in recognizing the contributions of the Irish to Seattle and to the Pacific Northwest. I dream of the day real soon when this pandemic's history and we can get out again with abandon, when we can pack our favorite pubs like the Irish are so good at doing, where they like to say strangers are just friends who've yet to meet. I'm particularly looking forward to that physical closeness again for this annual celebration in 2022. But in the meantime, let's stay safe and healthy and take care of our neighbors and enjoy a happy St. Patrick's Day for all. Sláinte.
Hi, my name is David Jacobson. I'm the president of the Irish Heritage Club, and on behalf of our executive board and all of our members, I'd like to welcome you to the 2021 COVID Irish Week festivities. And on behalf, I'd like to thank the Irish government for all the work that they put in for the Irish Heritage Club here in the Pacific Northwest, as well as all of our activities and fundraisers that we do to support the Irish in Seattle and in the state of Washington. So welcome and enjoy this festivities, and I hope to see you all soon after we get through COVID. Thank you very much.
Live Irish music is at the very heart and soul of Irish culture. Seattle has just a wonderful resource of Irish musicians. Dale Russ is a longtime fiddle player, and he is playing a solo set here. Irish dance is the thing that captivates more people to come down to the Seattle Center and watch the talent demonstrated. Seattle is blessed with many great Irish dance groups. The Irish dancing craze from river dance has not died, and the talent still lives here. You will see throughout this program samples of all the different dance schools showing their stuff online. Next year, live. Irish Week includes more than just festival at the Seattle Center. The Irish Heritage Club produces a parade down 4th Avenue. St. Patrick lands at South Lake Union, being delivered by the seafarer pirates. One tradition we keep alive is the laying of the green stripe, started by the flamboyant John Doyle Bishop, who owned a clothing store on 4th Avenue. On a serious note, we still hold a Mass for Peace. This was started in the 1970s, with the Mass being held in a Protestant church to pray for peace, the symbolism being unity.
Hello, my name is Karen McMahon. I'm a native of Ennis, County Clare in County Clare, Ireland. I am the eldest of 4 siblings. I have my brother Tom, Alison and Emma, and my parents are still alive, thankfully, and all healthy and well back home in the town of Ennis, County Clare. Coming to Seattle was really exciting and scary all at the one time because I had no family here. I got married in December of 2016 and started my journey trying to get a job, trying to become a professional here. And in February of 2017, I saw an ad in Eventbrite for an Irish soda bread making course. I thought, wow, I'm going to go. And I turned up on that day with no expectations other than just I knew I'd meet some nice people. It has turned my life in Seattle around. It was on that day that I met the Irish Heritage Club members, the board, all these people who have become my family here. It's just been phenomenal, and I'm so grateful that I went on that day. I feel so supported. I feel like I've got a surrogate parent, a sibling. I've got a grandfather. I've got anyone of any age in that group that I can draw on for the advice and for the support that I might need, depending on whether I'm missing my parents or my brother or my sister or one of my nieces or nephews. It's just the most amazing group of people I have ever met. To get involved in organising the St. Patrick's Day Parade and to be doing the Green Line and to be on doing the Irish Festival has just been incredible. It's to bring that much happiness and enjoyment to so many Irish across the whole state of Washington and all the generations of Irish that feel proud to be linked to our passports. It just feels very inspirational for me to be part of that group.
Genealogy is a key interest in people pursuing their Irish roots. And each year we give genealogy workshops, and we also partner with the Seattle Genealogical Society. We have Gene Roth to tell us what's new in the old.
During the Irish Week, everybody wants to be Irish. And there are people who have Irish ancestry are very proud of their heritage. In fact, 33 million Americans claim Irish ancestry. The Seattle Genealogical Society participates in Irish Week with a booth, and we bring down some of our best books on Irish research. People love to come to the booth and look up their names and try to figure out where their people came from. The booth is very, very popular, and we have a good time. I'm Gene Roth, and I am a member of the Seattle Genealogical Society. I chair their Irish interest group, and then I am also serving on the board of the Irish Heritage Club.
My name is Jim Secan. I'm the president of the Seattle Genealogical Society. I provide leadership for the board of directors who oversee the society and run this fine library that we're in. We do have a very active Irish community here in Seattle, and we at the society do what we can to provide them with whatever help and support that we can.
The Irish came to America in two major waves. First was in the 1700s with the Scots-Irish, who were Protestant from the province of Ulster in the north. They came to America and settled in Virginia, Pennsylvania, and the two Carolinas. Then this next major wave came in the 1800s, and that was people who literally survived the potato famine in Ireland. My great-grandfather was a small infant during the potato famine. I don't know how he survived, but he did. 2 million immigrated to the United States, and they were poor, mostly Catholic. They settled in the tenements of New York and other cities on the East Coast. But the Irish were particularly good farmers, and so they kept moving westward, and that's where we begin to have the Irish coming to Washington, like my great-grandfather became wheat farmers in eastern Washington. I became interested in genealogy when I was about 6 years old. And I was always curious where we came from. But then I had to confront the lack of records for my Irish people. And I struggled and I struggled. I went to Ireland at least once in 1979 and did research, but I couldn't find anything specific. But then, about 15 years ago, for the first time, we began to see where we could access records online. And the Irish government has been very, very proactive on making records available. All of a sudden, the National Library opened the Catholic Church records. The National Archives opened up census records, and the Irish government set up something called Ireland Reaching Out, and it was the Irish who were doing reverse genealogy looking for us. They will, if you register for free, and they will even meet and greet you if you come to Ireland. I was able to go back to Ireland, and when my cousins and I went into County Mayo, we knew exactly the plot of land where my great-grandfather had been and where he had grown up. You cannot describe what it's like walking in the footsteps of your ancestor on the land itself.
This organization was founded in 1923 to serve people in the Pacific Northwest who were interested in genealogy. Welcome to the Seattle Genealogical Society Library. We're a little empty right now because of COVID, but I want to show you a little bit about what we have here. We have over 15,000 books or documents in our library. So it's a large holding. We have books for all 50 states. We also have an international collection, and of interest to people in Irish Week is our collection of Irish documents. You know, these top two rows here and well into this third row are all Irish documents. We are also moving our library into the more modern world, we have workstations such as this one that our members can use, and we have subscriptions to the Ancestry.com databases, both the US and the overseas, that our patrons can use. And this library is open to anyone that wants to come in and use it. We are a membership organization, but all of these materials are available for anyone to use. So when this COVID crisis is over and we're able to reopen our library, come on in and talk to us. The people who are in the library when it's open are always eager to help people who are coming in trying to find their roots. And I think that genealogy gives you not only a sense of yourself, it gives you more a sense of how our country developed, how our communities have developed. And I think that's a very important thing that comes out of doing genealogical research.
Hi, my name is Maura Rebecca Boyle Barnes, and I come from Belfast in the north part of Ireland. I came here in 1964, and I have 4 children and 5 grandchildren, and of course my husband Bill. I come from a family of 11 children, 7 boys and 4 girls. 6 of us who were here through the years, 6 of them had immigrated to the United States. I have 1 brother and 1 sister and myself, of the original 6 still living here. 2 of them have died. They had aneurysms here in the United States, but their families are still here. We have, our family, direct descendants from my husband and me actually. We have 41 descendants plus 5 siblings, 5 of my siblings' spouses. I left Ireland and I'd worked for Grundig in the north part of Ireland, and I went to Germany, same thing, Grundig there, and that's where I met my husband, Bill, and he was in the US Army. He left in the summer of 64. I guess I went in 64, and I followed him out a couple of months later after the paperwork, and I was under contract with Grundig for a year. So I followed him out here, and it was a long, long trip, but I was welcomed so much by Bill's family. They were so loving and kind, and I was instantly welcomed by them.
Here playing Irish music for dancers is the group Carrigaline. What Cayley would be complete without a Cayley band playing reels, jigs, and an old-time waltz? Here is the group Carrigaline.
Fáilte Rómh a Gcuine Uaisle. Welcome to St. Patrick's Day 2021. We are Carrigaline. We play reels, jigs, and hornpipes. We come from a small village in County Cork in Ireland. Very happy to be here.
Ireland has several unique sports, all of which are played under the GAA, and the Tacoma Rangers and the Seattle Gaels are the teams that play this here. The women have their name for it of camogie for hurling. I have a virtual hurling ball here that I'm going to throw into play and let them show you how it's played.
Hi, I'm Joe with the Seattle Gaels.
And I'm Jeremy with the Tacoma Rangers. Today we're going to introduce you to the three Irish sports: hurling, camogie, and Gaelic football.
All three sports are team sports, generally played with 15 players per side, although you can play with fewer. In Ireland, matches are between 60 and 70 minutes in length with 2 halves, and the objective is to score more points than your opposing team within that amount of time.
You can score points in one of 2 ways. The first, going above the crossbar and in between the 2 upright pipes. The second is into the goal itself.
To play the ball, you can do that in several ways. One, you can catch the ball out of the air. You can lift the ball off the ground, either in hurling or camogie with your stick, which is called a hurley, or in football by crouching down and kind of pushing the ball into your hands from the ground. But you can't pick the ball up directly from the ground with your hands.
To move the ball forward, you can either do a hand pass or a stick pass in hurling, or a hand pass or a kick pass in Gaelic football. A hand pass in Gaelic football kind of looks like an underhanded serve, a miniature underhand serve from volleyball, and a kick pass looks more like a little bit of a punt.
And hand pass in hurling and camogie, similar. It's more like a slap of the ball. So you would have the ball in your hand, kind of toss it a little bit and slap it with your open hand. You can't throw the ball. So on offense, as Jeremy mentioned, you're trying to score through either the uprights or down below into the goal. Now on defense, you're trying to prevent the other team from doing it. And there are a number of ways that you can do that. One is by blocking their shot or knocking the ball out of their possession. Another way in hurling is something that's called hooking. When the player is trying to hit the ball, you can come behind them and just interfere with the swing of their stick.
Now that you know about hurling and Gaelic football, Molly's here to talk to you about camogie and ladies Gaelic football. Molly, what's the difference between camogie and hurling?
Well, really, they're essentially the same sport. There are very few differences in rules. The main difference for camogie is in contact. So in hurling, you'll see a lot of shoulder-to-shoulder contact. You can't do that in camogie, but you will see a lot more boxing out and hip checking in camogie than you will in hurling. Other than that, it's essentially the same sport.
Okay, and what about ladies Gaelic football?
So for ladies Gaelic football, the main difference between men's and women's is in how you pick up the ball. So for men's Gaelic football, you have to flick or kick the ball up into your hands. For women, you can pick the ball up off the ground. And really, that's the only difference.
So those are the basics of hurling and Gaelic football. And, you know, they're quite fun sports to play. If you've ever played soccer or you've played lacrosse or volleyball or anything, this sport could really be for you. It uses all of those skills, and so we'd really recommend coming out and trying. We know 2020 didn't work out for us to be able to play. We know everyone's had a hard year, but start off 2021 with, you know, coming and having a bit of fun with us, and, you know, keep on the lookout for on our Facebook pages or any other social media where we're going to be posting. So we look forward to seeing you.
Hi, my name is David Jacobson, the current president of the Irish Heritage Club, and this is my father,
Gordon Adam Jacobson.
And my mom and dad, Kitty O'Connell Jacobson, were married in 1970, and they actually met at one of the Irish festivity dances back in 1969, and my mom and dad danced out there, and mom told dad that you're going to be my man, and we're going to get married, and we're going to raise our kids in the Catholic Church, and we're going to have lots of kids. And that's how the story starts for our family, and they helped form the Irish Festivities Group back then, and now it's the Irish Heritage Club. Dad ran the parade for a number of years and started the Green Stripe and everything with Frank and Bill Barnes and all the original Irish that started this fine group. And now it's turned into one of the biggest parades and Green Stripes in the whole West Coast.
Hi, my name is Caroline Lee and I'm the president of the Irish Network here in Seattle. The Irish Network is a business and social networking group that is open to Irish, Irish Americans, and anyone who's interested in Ireland and what Ireland can offer. Our mission is to help our community develop relationships that will help them build their business and their network. We do that and we focus on 4 key areas. The key area is business. When we focus on business, an awful lot of our time is working in partnership with the Irish Consulate, the IDA, Enterprise Ireland, the Seattle Greater Partner Community, and the Seattle Chamber of Commerce. We also work with a huge amount of Irish businesses that are already set up here in Seattle. With those great partnerships, we host many different business networking events throughout the year. One in particular is really popular, which is our business breakfast that we host every year during Irish Week. We also host networking events when we have a Minister for State come and visit us from Ireland. And now that the IDA and Enterprise Ireland are here in Seattle, we now have a blueprint and a footprint for them to be able to work with us to host more networking events, to be able to build business opportunities between Ireland and Washington State. The other key focus that we have within the Irish Network is in education. We foster and build upon the existing relationships between universities here in the US and back home in Ireland. We work with the alumni from TU Dublin, UCD, DCU and Trinity, and UW here in Seattle. So when we have a professor or a scholar visiting from those universities in Ireland, we work with organising and getting an event set up here. When it comes to the culture of Ireland, Ireland has such an abundance of culture, whether it's sport or music, the history, the art, the literature. There's so much. There's no one community here in Seattle that could cover all of that. So with the Irish Network, we work with all of the community groups that are already set up here in Seattle, like the Irish Heritage Club, the Seattle Gaels GA Club, Ceol Cascadia, and many, many more, to be able to help them build new networking and new opportunities to host events. The 4th piece that we really focus on with the Irish Network, and which is really important right now, is the social side of networking. So we regularly post on our LinkedIn site and through our social media platforms good advice to help build your network while we're in this pandemic. Pre-pandemic, we did host social events, after work events, and we had our Christmas party and our summer parties. We weren't able to host them this year, but we didn't forget about our members. And we really wanted to make sure that they knew that we cared, that what they were going through was real and we were still there for them. So we sent out holiday care packages, and some goodies included in that were Tato crisps and the Cadbury's selection boxes, which are always great. When it is safe to be able to meet up again, the Irish Network are ready and waiting to be able to host events where you can really build your business and drive new opportunities and build new connections, both here and in Ireland. Gurmila Mahagut. Slán.
Hello, my name is Gavin O'Loughlin and I work with IDA Ireland. I've recently arrived in Seattle. I've been here about 5 weeks now and really enjoying my stay here so far. It's a beautiful city. The reason I'm here is to set up IDA Ireland's new permanent office here in the Pacific Northwest. We hope to have the office open towards the end of the year, and that's an office in a physical sense, not in an office in my house. I'm going to briefly talk to you about 3 different areas: IDA Ireland and what we do, how we assist companies, and why Ireland has emerged as a go-to location for European expansion projects, and some of the key drivers as to why IDA Ireland is opening up this new location here in the Pacific Northwest. So IDA Ireland is Ireland's inward investment agency. We partner with multinational companies that are looking at European expansion projects. There's a wide range of different services that we provide to these companies, but in essence what we're trying to do is take the pain out of that European expansion project, help those companies get those boots on the ground and ramp up quickly. We also work with companies on wide range of other different projects. In fact, there's hundreds of different projects that we work on with companies each year. In our portfolio of client companies, there's about 1,500 plus companies at the moment, and some of those companies have been in the portfolio since the 1950s. Why Ireland has emerged as a tech hub, I think there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, I think it's access to talent. Ireland has a highly educated, young, dynamic and workforce with great access to language skill availability. Ireland is a politically stable, pro-European location, English speaking, and has a long track record of foreign direct investment. And also, Ireland is a cost competitive location as well, with a very attractive corporate tax offering. So some of the reasons why we're establishing this office here in Seattle. Seattle is one of the fastest growing economies in America. It's long been recognised as a hotspot for tech startups. I think there's 11 unicorns have been created in the Pacific Northwest over the last decade, a very impressive statistic. And also, we have 20 plus companies in our portfolio as well that would have their headquarters here in the Pacific Northwest. We want to work more closely with those companies, and also an opportunity to target more companies in the area as well. So we're trying to build on the momentum we already have here in the region and strengthen our connections. So be delighted to talk to anyone who wants to get in touch. My name is Gavin O'Loughlin and I work for IDA Ireland.
Our Taste of Ireland in Seattle includes a presentation on the Irish Famine, the event which more than anything else drove Irish people to leave their homes and come to America. Thousands of those immigrants contributed to the mosaic of peoples who created their new lives in the Pacific Northwest.
Hello, my name is Fidelma McGinn, and I'm originally from County Kildare in Ireland. I've lived here in the Northwest for about 25 years, and one thing that I really love about being here is the variety of art and artists. Now, you may know that Seattle is the epicenter of the glass art movement, and one renowned artist is Dale Chihuly. An artist you may not be very familiar with is an Irish artist, Paula Stokes. Paula originally hails from Navan in County Meath and has lived here for about 25 years. As a glass artist, she's participated as an educator and a collaborator with many artists, but in 2019 she undertook a very ambitious project called 1845 Memento Mori. Paula will share more about how the project unfolded and her vision for this memorial to the Irish famine of 1845 in this short video.
This project, titled 1845 Memento Mori, is a famine memorial dedicated to the Irish potato famine. I am creating an installation made of 1,845 hand-blown glass potatoes that are piled into the form of a cairn. The cairn form is a pile of stones, often serving as a landmarker, but in this case it suggests a burial monument, and instead of stones, I am piling potatoes. The number of the potatoes, 1,845, references the year when the potato blight came to Ireland, marking the beginning of a period of mass starvation, disease and emigration. Over 1.5 million people died and a further 1 million emigrated. I chose to create a representation of the potato, a classic and iconic symbol associated with Ireland, using molten hot glass. The potato form is made from clear glass that is then sandblasted. The absence of colour is intentional. The result is a recognisable form of the potato that in its stark whiteness looks like a ghost of the living form. It is a memento mori that serves as a reminder of mortality. Working in glass requires teamwork. My glass community is very close and we often collaborate with one another to create each other's work. In the process of this project, I've been contacted by other artists working in glass who want to participate and contribute their time in making the work for me in their own studios. They do this to honour their ancestors who emigrated from Ireland to America. Once I started blowing the work, I quickly realised I would need a lot of help if I was going to finish the work in a reasonable time. I could make 60 potatoes in a day with one other person. Altogether, it took over 500 hours and 18 people to make the 1,845 potatoes. We did this over the course of a year. In creating this work, I throw light on historical events that have shaped the present and hoping to open a dialogue on how we can learn from the past. My plan is to show this work in different venues in America and ultimately in Ireland.
So 1845 Memento Mori had its inaugural opening here in Washington State in Port Townsend and then at the Method Gallery downtown Seattle. In 2021, it's a great thrill to announce that it will be showcased in 4 locations in Ireland, in Roscommon, in Wexford, in Ulster in Omagh, and also in Mayo. So check out the website for all the details of when it will be on view so that you can make your plans to go visit it in person.
Hello, everyone. Greetings. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all. Happy run-up to St. Patrick's Day. This is, I believe in my heart, the last one we'll ever have in lockdown, at least in our lifetime. Let's hope. There's much to be thankful for. Spring is around the corner. Days are getting longer. A new president, the most Irish-American president we've had since John F. Kennedy. Don't forget that Barack Obama had some Irish blood in him as well. So it's a great honor and pleasure to me to be coming to you as one of your former Grand Marshals. You can see I've got my Grand Marshal sash now turned into a scarf on this day. Happy to participate in this virtual event. I'm going to just give you a small reading from my book, The Immortal Irishman. So, I want to just say before I start that we all know our Irish history is steeped in a lot of misery. That's why the happiness when we have it is so wonderful. We're coming out of a truly awful year, and I think the strength that will come out of that will come out of this thing much, much stronger. And one of the ways that keeps us strong is our own literature, the written word, and what we can do to celebrate, life through the written word and through storytelling. So I'm going to read from this book, The Immortal Irishman, which is a true story of one of the most remarkable Irish Americans ever. His name is Thomas Francis Marr. He grew up in Ireland in the 19th century, a Victorian. He was radicalized by the Great Famine, the hunger that, of course, killed more than 1 million Irish, which we now see was genocide largely because they were shipping so much food out of Ireland at a time when people were starving to death. He took part in the failed 1848 rebellion called the Young Ireland Rebellion, was sentenced to be hanged, drawn, and quartered, and his remains disposed of as Her Majesty shall see fit. And Her Majesty, Queen Victoria, decided to commute Thomas Francis Marr's sentence to lifetime banishment on the island of Tasmania. So there he went off to Australia with all the other convicts, the best and brightest among them sent to this island of Tasmania. After some time there, he escapes. He comes to America. He quickly becomes a leader in the 1850s at a time when the first great surge of immigration is going on, when more than 2 million Irish have been forced to flee their land because of hunger and other things, and they're trying to make their way. They're criticized, they're lambasted, they're shamed by the Know Nothing movement, but Thomas Marr is a leader of theirs. He becomes the most famous orator, Irish-American orator. And when the Civil War breaks out, he sides with the Union. Abraham Lincoln names him a general, and he starts the famous Irish Brigade in the Civil War. They go through the most dramatic battles of the Civil War, took really heavy casualties, horrible losses, but were known far and wide for their bravery in battle. And to this day, especially the 69th Division, are celebrated for what they did to fight the slaveholders. After the war, Marr goes off to be the territorial governor of Montana. So he lives 3 completely dramatic lives as a young Ireland rebel, as a general in the American Civil War fighting with the Irish Brigade, and as the territorial governor of Montana. So I was attracted to this story because you can see so much of Irish American life in this one extraordinary life, this one person who lived really 3 lives in one. I'm going to have a short reading. This is from the start of the book, just trying to give the reader an introduction of a short history of Ireland and what Thomas Marr felt as a rebel coming of age in the 18th century when all of Ireland was under British occupation, as it had been for a long time.
The Irish Heritage Club goal is to foster Irish culture, and none better way to describe how we do that is by sponsoring the group Cael Cascadia, which produces a music camp to help teach budding Irish musicians. Here is a video to explain more of how they do it. Seattle in the Pacific Northwest is very rich in Irish traditional music, and Cael Cascadia is just one organization that has formed here in the last 10 years.
Well, Ceol Cascadia is a program of the Irish Heritage Club of Seattle, formed in about 2011 for the purpose of teaching and promoting the playing of Irish traditional music to all ages, young and old, and in between. And it does this in 3 ways. A year-round tune learning class for anybody playing any Irish musical instrument. Also, Ceol Cascadia puts on a week-long summer camp at Evergreen State College in Olympia. We bring over 6 or 7 seasoned musicians, instructors from Ireland, and a couple from around the States, so that you get a week-long of music in various instruments, and the camp will provide classes in the morning time, recitals in the afternoon, informal sessions in the evening time, and then a couple of concerts. And then thirdly, we try and put on year-round concerts for visiting musicians from Ireland or the States, so that our students here and people here in the Northwest can see really top-class players playing Irish music. The founder of Ceol Cascadia was Randall Bays, who is the artistic director and a well-known Irish fiddle player.
I've been playing Irish music for a very long time, and in the early 90s I was over in County Clare. I went to the Willie Clancy Week, and I loved it. So I came back and I wanted to do something like that, and in I think 2002 I got the Friday Harbor Irish Music Week going up in the San Juan Islands. That went for about 10 years. And then I wanted to get something going on the mainland in the summer so that kids could attend. So John Keane from the Irish Heritage Club approached me at an event, Irish community event, and just said, look, we want to support this activity. And I was honored to have that kind of expression of support. And I feel we've been very successful. We've drawn a lot more young people. We've brought lots of teachers from Ireland and had a lot of fun. And I feel like it's helped kind of put the music into our own tradition here in the Pacific Northwest.
So Randall, to foster the whole idea of Ceol Cascadia, you've put on a year-round tune learning class. Would you talk a little bit about how that has evolved and who can benefit from that?
Well, the idea was I teach tunes by ear, note by note, kind of in the traditional manner. And this was pre-COVID, so we were meeting face-to-face. And then with the pandemic, the whole thing has gone online. It's now done on Zoom. So geographically, it's expanded quite a bit. It's not just here in the Northwest now. So we have people attending these classes from all over the U.S. and Canada now. I love how you're playing it. There's that one little phrase, if we could just get that a little clearer.
What I found with your classes is that certainly for older people who think these opportunities have passed in their lifetime, no, that's not the case. What your classes gave me the opportunity to do was to actually learn to play Irish dance music on an instrument, which for many years I didn't think that was ever going to be something I could do. And it's just a wonderful feeling that, yes, it is attainable.
I came to this musical style a little bit later, probably, than a lot of people. I didn't grow up playing the instrument, and I started playing probably when I was about 28, 29 years old, and eventually found my way to Randall and started taking private lessons. And that was a great way to get started. He was great with beginners, but he's somebody who has the expertise to teach at any level. Okay, try that again. Kieran, my son, he's 14. He's been playing since he was 3 years old. Both my kids started playing classical music and really started playing Irish music several years ago in preparation for going to Cascadia Irish Music Week. My husband plays Irish guitar, so all 4 of us can play together at times. And as a family, it's great to be able to have these tunes that we share together.
Playing Irish fiddle tunes with my mom is really fun because it's something we can bond over. Because she doesn't play classical, which I play, so she's been teaching me kind of Irish music. The camp is honestly really great. It's during the summer. There's a nice tent that you can play tunes under with your friends, stuff like that. It's a fun thing to do.
The pandemic caused us to miss last year, 2020, but we'll certainly be back if we can, and we're possibly going to do something, maybe a somewhat scaled down version of it in the fall. I think all our crowd is into it. We'll make a way. We'll find a way to make it happen.
That's right, we will. We will.
I'm having a coffee break with traditional Irish soda bread. Soda bread is a much-loved part of every Irish meal. We have Fiona Shrian to give us the secrets of making a great loaf. When you become proficient, maybe you'd like to enter our traditional soda bread baking contest each year at Irish Week.
Hi, my name is Fiona Shrian. I learned how to make Irish soda bread from my mother, who learned it from her mother in Ireland, and I'm here to share that with you today. Irish soda bread is a very simple bread. It's made of 4 ingredients: flour, buttermilk, baking soda, and salt. Super simple, and you can dress it up or down how you want. Some people make savory. I've seen people make cheese and jalapeno soda bread. It's fantastic. Or you can make it sweet. Oftentimes in Ireland you'll find a brown bread. So it's whole wheat flour and the white flour, and then add currants or raisins. It's fantastic. But I'm going to show you the way I learned it, traditional Irish soda bread. We start with 3.5 cups of flour, and then we add a teaspoon of sifted baking soda. It's always important to sift your baking soda because baking soda can definitely get into little clumps. A teaspoon of salt. Next, you can sift your whole mixture. Oftentimes I don't have time, so I just grab a whisk to mix it up quickly. Next, before you add your buttermilk, I like to make a well in the middle of your flour mixture. And then I'll add 1.5 cups of buttermilk. You'll see it fills up there nicely. Next, I like to slowly start bringing my flour mixture in before I bring it all together. It does tend to get a little messy, but it goes together pretty quickly. I start bringing the flour and the buttermilk together. If it's not coming together, you can always add a little extra buttermilk, which I will do here in a minute. It's like just a little dry. It definitely will depend on the consistency of your buttermilk. And if you do find that your bread is actually a little wet, you can always just add a little extra flour too. All right, looks like my bread is coming together there. Oh, a little bit more. Oh, and it's nicely stuck to my hands too. My grandmother always had a little trick for getting all the flour off her hands. Actually, she used to grab a little bit of flour, extra flour, and she'd rub it on her hands. And that always was a little fast way to get it off. Okay, next we're gonna get the bread together. Before I do that, I usually like to put a little flour out if I'm gonna be turning out into a pan. Let's put that out there a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna put my flour in here. So you can kind of see the flour or the bread has come together. You don't want to over mix soda bread. So there's not like not a yeast bread where you need to, knead it constantly. So I like to just fold it a few times, just enough to have it come together. You definitely don't want to overwork your bread. And then I just kind of try to form it into a little ball, making sure that any of the parts that you folded are on the underneath, so they're not going to affect how your bread expands in the oven. Unlike other breads, I don't like other baking. You don't need to put a parchment down. I usually just put a little bit of flour down, and I'll use that to keep it to be non-sticking in the oven. There's also another tradition to Irish soda bread that's unique, is cutting the cross. So you want to cut across about 1/2 inch down into your bread. They always call it letting the fairies out. The true reason behind it though is you really want to control how your bread cooks in the oven. So if you have your lines, it'll expand into the 4 corners versus exploding out one side. So you have no idea where it's going to go. So now that the bread is ready to put in the oven, we're going to bake it at 450 for 15 minutes. After that, after 15 minutes, you want to bring it down to 375. And then it'll continue baking for about 30 minutes, give or take. I mean, obviously going to depend on your oven a little bit. And then when it's done, there is a fun way to check for your soda bread to know if it's done. You can listen for it. You can actually tap the bottom, and it starts to sound like a drum when it's finished. If you're really worried about it, you can still check it with a toothpick or a knife though. Anyway, so this is Irish soda bread. I hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed making it with you. I hope you had fun too.
This presentation on the Irish language is part of the Irish Festival Seattle's 2021 celebrations. Hello, my name is Caoimhín de Barra and I am an Associate Professor of History at Gonzaga University. I am author of Gaelic, A Radical Revolution, a book that was praised by one reviewer for offering a broad, fresh look at the Irish language, and criticised by another for putting forward a dystopian vision on how to revive Irish. You can't win them all, I guess. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the Irish language and offer some insights on its history and its place in contemporary Irish society. The Irish language, also known as Gaeilge in Irish, or sometimes Gaelic, is an old language that has been spoken on the island of Ireland for at least 3,000 years. It was a dominant language in Ireland for most of its recorded history, but its position was undermined over time by the increasing intensity of English colonisation of the island. As a result, By 1800, scholars estimate that perhaps as few as 45% of the Irish population still spoke Irish as their first language. Ironically, the actual number of Irish speakers in Ireland increased in the first half of the 19th century, even as the percentage of the population that spoke Irish continued to fall. This was due to the enormous growth of the Irish population that took place at this time. By 1845, there were about 3 million Irish speakers in Ireland, or 38% of the Irish population. This was simultaneously the most Irish speakers there ever had been, but also the lowest percentage of the population who spoke Irish at any one time. Of course, this was on the cusp of the Irish Famine, which had a devastating impact on the language. Between 1845 and 1851, over 1 million people died, and 1 million people emigrated as a result of the disease and starvation brought on by the famine. The famine disproportionately hit areas that were primarily Irish-speaking. The map on the left shows in green the parts of Ireland where Irish was still the most commonly spoken language in 1850, and the map on the right shows in red what areas suffered the most during the famine. As you can see, there was considerable overlap between the two. In 1845, there were 3 million Irish speakers. By 1851, this had fallen to 2.1 million. In other words, in the space of 6 years, 1/3 of the Irish-speaking world had disappeared. This decline continued for the rest of the 19th century, and by 1891, only about 700,000 people, or 14% of the population, still spoke Irish. The language seemed to be on the verge of extinction. However, some people decided to act to save the language. In 1893, the Gaelic League, or Conradh na Gaeilge, was formed by Douglas Hyde and Owen McNeill, two Irish language scholars. The goal of the Gaelic League was to preserve Irish where it was still the spoken language of the people, and to encourage its use in English-speaking areas. The Gaelic League was a non-political organisation, but the very nature of its mission meant that it tended to emphasise the differences between Ireland and Britain, and its philosophy inspired those who dreamed of Irish independence. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.
TG4 is Ireland's official Irish language television channel. In the US, you can easily watch programs in Irish online with closed captions in English. We are linking today some children's programs that are entertaining and fun. For example, Bia Lynn features preschool kids in the kitchen learning how to cook.
So this next song that we're going to sing is going to be sung in Irish. Sometimes you call it Gaelic, we call it Irish. And to do that, we've got Andrew Anderson, Andreas Mock Andreas in the broken Irish, and over here, Christine Traxler, and I'm Kieran O'Mahony, and we have a very interesting song coming up for you. It's in Gaelic, and as I say, it's about 300 years old. There's a story attached to the song, of course, and like all good Irish songs, it's a story of courtly love, or basically unrequited love. In other words, the man falls in love with the beautiful woman, and she says, "Forget it, buddy."
Nín bus spéile saune brinnela, ac balin is gaze ceralu e crinani. Oh, how ni brinnela, 'cause it's a storin ergis im glaum. Master about war go rog ne galaba. Lookin' will ward is new Hogan and Harrigan. Oh, how ni brindla, Tudum the loving ergus him a glum. Ni falaki gala, hob ni brindla, Akshanko tin down gun carl gun muckle ya. Oh, how ni brindla, Tudum the loving ergus him a glum. Far mama make tawa farum rev, far lost it is like a cow and umarif. Oh, how ni brindla, Tudum the loving ergus him a glum. Far mama make tawa farum rev, far lost it is like a cow and umarif. Oh, how ni brindla, a goose is a store in ergus him a glum.
Hi, I'm Mary Shrahan. I've been involved in the Irish Heritage Club since it started. Okay, I'm living in Muckalteo. I'm married. My husband passed away. He was from County Roscommon. I'm from County Carlow. And my three children are living close by, and my 3 grandchildren are just living over in, right 15 minutes away from me. I've been in Seattle since 1957 and been involved in all things Irish. My one thing I like to do is, I'd like to share my Irish heritage and some of the things that have been important to me. Growing up in Ireland, making soda bread was my mother's thing. So when I went to school and went to economics, my father thought I was going to be a great bread baker. And I made the first loaf of bread. It came out just about the same as a stone. And he put it in the wall that he was building. So now I spend a lot of time teaching how to make soda bread. I taught my daughter. She's doing a wonderful job. And it's very enjoyable. Something we loved. My family are very involved in Irish activities. Frank, my husband, late husband, he was very involved in Irish football and sports. My daughter and my granddaughters are very involved in Irish dancing. I worked on the St. Patrick's Day Parade for many years and involved in Seattle Centre. I also was part of the group that picked our sister cities, Galway. It was a wonderful trip. I have very strong, wonderful friends in the Irish community here in this area. I count them as like family.
So how do you pour the perfect pint? A question asked every year. We go on location to see how it's done by the professional bartender at Sean O'Donnell's.
Hello, a very good day to you. My name is Johnny. I'm talking to you from Sean O'Donnell's Irish Pub here in Fremont. I'm excited and delighted to spend a couple of minutes with you here today having a little chat about how we pour the proper pint of Guinness. Now, you got to put a lot of love and respect and care into your Guinness when you're pouring it, and we take great pride in doing it the proper way every single time. So we always start off with a nice branded Guinness glass. The glass is always dry, the glass is always clean, and the harp on the glass will always face the customer. The harp, of course, is the national symbol of Ireland, and on a point of trivia, Ireland is the only country in the world to have a musical instrument as its national symbol. So we always have a bit of fun talking about that. Our customers here at Sean O'Donnell's, they really enjoy drinking the pint of Guinness. The finished product is marvellous, but they also really seem to enjoy the process of watching the Guinness settle. This is called the cascading effect. You can get lost watching that nitrogen, the bubbles. It's a delightful process to participate in, both as the person who's pouring the pint and the person who's watching the Guinness settle. So Guinness tell us to take 119.5 seconds to let that pint settle. Sometimes we take just a little bit more just to go the extra mile, and we enjoy it so much. So folks around here, we certainly enjoy drinking our Guinness, but here at Sean O'Donnell's we found another use for it. We pour it into our corned beef and cabbage recipe as we're cooking, and of course around this time of the year it takes a lot of Guinness as we're preparing a ton of corned beef and cabbage. We're excited to celebrate St. Patrick's Day this year with you guys. Around the pub, we don't just call this Guinness, we got another couple of names for it. We call it Vitamin G, and you got to be sure you get your vitamin G. We call it Pint of Goodness, and some of our folks around here, they call it a pint of black. But an interesting note of trivia is, you hold a Guinness up to the light, it's not really black, it's a very, very dark ruby red in colour. Final step, you grab your vitamin G, you grab your pint of goodness. You never want to let the spout make contact with the Guinness. You push forward your handle very slowly. It's a point of pride here at Sean O'Donnell's. We always get a beautiful doming effect on our pint as we finish it off. You rise just above the level of the glass. You put a gorgeous little clover, gorgeous little shamrock on top, and it finishes off your beautiful pint of Guinness all the way from St. James's Gate in Dublin. It didn't come from Ontario, it didn't come from Baltimore. It came all the way from St. James's Gate in Dublin, and I got one waiting here for you. Sláinte!
When first I saw that form endearing, sorrow from me seemed to depart. Each graceful look, each word so cheering, charmed my eye and won my heart.
A Bloomsday Zoom Day, as a friend of ours, Riley, suggested.
Bronze by gold, Miss Douce's head by Miss Kennedy's head, over the cross-blind of the Ormond bar, heard the vice-regal hoofs go by, ringing steel.
Is that her? Asked Miss Kennedy.
Miss Douce said,
Yes, sitting with his ex, Pearl Grey and Eau de Nil. Exquisite contrast.
When all agog, Miss Douce said eagerly,
Look at the fellow in the tall silk. Ooh, where? Gold asked more eagerly. In the second carriage.
Miss Douce's wet lips said, laughing in the sun,
He's looking. Mine till I see.
She darted, bronze, to the backmost corner, flattening her face against the pane in a halo of hurried breath. Her wet lips tittered.
And now we'll finish with an oft-referenced song from the chapter, The Croppy Boy, which will be sung by Bill Barnes. Go ahead, Bill.
Good men and true in this house do dwell. To a stranger, buccal, I pray you tell. Is a priest at home, or may he be seen? I would speak a word with Father Green. At the siege of Ross did my father fall, and at Gorey my loving brothers all. I alone am left to my name and race. I will go to Wexford to take their place.
The children are not forgotten at Irish Week either. We always have an art project to engage the young ones at the upper level of the Cielo Center House. This year online, we have a project to build an illumination art project using found materials common in the home.